In the early 20th century, the Appalachian Mountains were a battleground, not between nations, but between classes. The workers of the coal mines and their capitalist barons who controlled their lives fought violently in what became known as the Coal Wars. The story of the Coal Wars is one of dignity in the face of oppression, strife in the face of greed, and bloody sacrifice for the betterment of all future American workers who benefit from the labor laws these people laid down their lives for. In the time that many historians would call Pax Americana, the golden age of America, working conditions were brutal and deadly. There were few labor rights laws. Coal miners lived in company towns where they were not paid in USD, but company money. They could only use this money at stores that the same coal mining company owned. The prices were heavily inflated, designed to maintain poverty amongst the workers. This meant that you couldn't leave. It was control on the labor market. If your legs were blown off from the dynamite in the mines, you were not compensated. You were tossed aside and left to wither away. 12 hours a day, 6 days a week in the mines. No child labor laws. In fact, children were particularly useful to the capitalists because they could fit in small places. Eventually, the workers couldn't take it anymore. They joined the United Mine Workers Union, demanding fair pay and safer conditions. But the capitalists wanted to maintain their high rate of profit, so they hired private militias to violently crush unionization efforts. In many cases, they even got the state to intervene on behalf of the company, such as the Ludlow Massacre. April 20th, 1914, Ludlow, Colorado. Soldiers from the Colorado National Guard and the private militias attacked striking workers and their families. They used Gatling guns to mow down workers, and most of the deaths were children. This massacre sparked mass proletariat rebellion in Colorado, so on April 29, 1914, President Woodrow Wilson sent federal troops to crush them further. About 20 people died in Ludlow and another 200 in the aftermath, making it the deadliest labor strike in the history of the United States. Back in Appalachia, as the Union was being violently attacked, workers knew they had to fight back. So in 1921, they formed the Redneck Army, as they wore red handkerchiefs around their neck to recognize each other in battle, and because they were communists. Yes, the term redneck does not come from people working in the fields, but radicalized proletariats who fought against their oppressors. From August 25th to September 2nd, 1921, some 10,000 workers confronted 3,000 lawmen and private militias in what became known as the Battle of Blair Mountain. The largest labor uprising in the history of the United States and the largest armed uprising since the Civil War. 1 million rounds were fired, and the US military used bomber planes, the first but not the last time that the US government bombed its own citizens.